Welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us for our interview tonight. I'm Jason Combs with Education Quest, and a very special welcome to our guest this evening, Tristan Alvano. You might recognize Tristan as a place kicker for Nebraska Cornhuskers. You also might know him from his time at Westside High School in Omaha, Nebraska. So Tristan, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and sharing your experience with the recruiting process and getting into college athletics.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Before we get into questions for Tristan, we got some we're going to get rolling with. We are giving away, like we do every live broadcast, we have our tumblers and our water bottles. And so if you are interested in either of those, if you just put which one you're interested in, water bottle or tumbler, into the chat, that'll get your entry in there. We'll pick winners, so stick around until the end to find out if you're one of the lucky two that win those. Also, if you have any questions for Tristan as we're going through this, we're going to get through our questions first, and then at the end, we're going to go to audience questions. So don't hold on to them. Go ahead and place them in the chat. We've got people behind the scenes keeping track of those things, and then we'll get to your questions for Tristan when we get to the end. So Tristan, let's get started with kind of the basic question that everyone asks. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're studying, maybe your favorite things to do in what little spare time you have as an athlete?
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, obviously we're kept pretty busy. We got a busy football schedule, but I don't know. I mean, I'm a business major from Omaha. I'm freshman right now. Really enjoyed kind of my first year so far, and I mean, I love this place. I mean, I know I'm from Omaha, but like it does feel kind of like a new home. I mean, Omaha and Lincoln are a little different, and I'm having a really good time here. But things I like to do on my own probably are, anything with my teammates. I don't know. I'm a big movie or TV show guy. So right now I'm watching Suits again. So I mean, really big fan of that. But that's what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome. You'll have to give us some movie recommendations as we go through this, I guess. So you're really living a dream for a lot of our viewers. I think a lot of people have aspirations to go to Lincoln as a student, but also all of those playing sports and stuff. I know in this state, like it's a big place for people to want to go. So right off the bat, like, do you have any advice for these kids in high school that are thinking, hey, one day maybe I want to play this sport for the Cornhuskers?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first thing that any coach is going to ask for, no matter the sport, is your grades. I mean, you got to take care of business in the classroom, because one of the first questions they ask is, what are your, test scores? I mean, depending on the school you go to, like, that's not always the biggest, concern for them, but GPA is for sure. Like, they're always asking about your grades and making sure, you're responsible, because it shows a lot about you and your kind of character. But besides that, I definitely say, getting good film from your sport in high school or club, whatever you may do. And obviously, going to camps or showcases, those are huge, getting seen in front of people. And, you're going to be nervous the first few times you go out there in front of all those scouts, the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. So the easier it'll be to kind of perform and show what you can do.
Awesome. So can you tell us about the recruiting process? Because I know that's kind of a mystery for a lot of students. Like, how did that go? When did it start?
Yeah, it differs from sport to sport. It can start as early as, I don't know, middle school for some sports. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I think they've definitely changed rules in some sports, but I mean, it's I know, like volleyball, for example, like they start recruiting really, really early, so they have their kind of top recruits planned out years ahead. But I mean, for football and everything, I mean, you receive interest, but it's kind of like schools will come through, college coaches will come through your high school and talk to your coaches about you, or maybe have a small conversation with you. But like, again, it's not any it's kind of just interest. Like, they do that to a bunch of kids every day. So it's really tough, and it's stressful. I mean, when you really get into the thick of it, your junior, senior year, trying to figure out where you want to go, it's stressful, because you want to make the right choice. And obviously there's all the different factors, like coaches leaving and everything, and you want to go to a stable and program you trust, and that's the biggest thing. Building those connections and making a place feel like home.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of crazy to think that it starts as early as middle school.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to UNL, or did UNL come to you and say, "Hey, we're interested in you coming and being a kicker for us"?
Yeah, it really happened kind of late for me, but they reached out to me kind of towards the end of my senior year. I mean, I had some early interest from them. End of the regular season, early playoffs for during my senior high school football season, but really didn't go on a lot of visits until after my season ended. I went on a couple unofficial visits, and then I took a official visit in December of my senior year, and that kind of really solidified, how I felt about this new program and new staff coming in, and I just felt like home. So I fell in love with it.
A good fit. That's awesome. So I'd love to give our viewers kind of an idea of what life is like for a college athlete. Can you tell us just kind of really briefly and high level, like what's your schedule like? How do classes fit into that? Practices? Do you have a lot of downtime?
Yeah, no, I think whether it's in season or out of season, they work with you to at least with football, and I'm sure it's kind of similar with both sports. The academics people, that the academic advisors that help with your athletics, your sports, they really they talk to your coaches and figure out when you're kind of going to practice, whether that's in season or off season. So they block out times when you're going to be occupied. So like for us, for example, we're usually practice. We're either in season, we're practicing, or we're meeting early morning or early evening and at night. So that gives us, they block off that time for us. We're not able to have class. Obviously, classes are so important. That's the first priority. But our class window is probably from anywhere from 11 to 4, and then that's when we have classes, like kind of during those periods. 5 days a week or whatever, and then the rest of the time is kind of taken up by our sport. Film, practice, meetings, workouts. Anything like in that nature. So yeah.
Interesting. So off season, I know can kind of be different than in season. Do you find that you're taking more classes in your off season because you have more time, and that way you don't have to take as many during the season?
Yeah, no, I definitely think I think my spring so far is definitely a little heavier than my fall in terms of kind of the course load I'm taking, and I think the difficulty of my classes, it could have just been that I kind of got eased into it my beginning of my freshman year, but I think the difficulty of class I'm taking now is harder than what it was in the fall for me.
Do you have a lot of support? You have a lot of people that kind of help you through that and planning out when you can take classes and what classes you need to take?
Yeah, no, it's great. We have all the access we need to tutors and the academic support people in our program for all athletes, not just football, is great. We can go to any of them and get help, and we're able to work around our schedules and go in and talk to the teacher during office hours, and any sort of extra ways to get help. We have access to it, and it helps us out a lot because we have a lot on our mind and we have very busy schedules, but obviously academics come first, so we gotta take care of business that way, and take advantage of all the resources we have, because we're very fortunate, and I mean we'd be a fool not to take advantage of them.
Yeah, I know a lot of the athletes that I talk to, girls on my daughter's teams and stuff like that. That's kind of one of their big concerns is how do they balance that academics and athletics, particularly in a sport like yours where you're traveling a lot and you're going to be, away from classes and away from campus and stuff when you're playing on those weeks. Do you find that you have to go to your professors? Do you have to ask for maybe special situations or something, or is that kind of just a given and kind of all taken care of for you?
I mean, we were definitely, obviously, we have an excused absence from class, and anytime we miss it, if we're traveling or doing something with our athletics. But we really, they really emphasize on communicating with our teachers, figuring out what we're going to miss, and definitely working ahead, because it's way better to work ahead and get the material in advance rather than trying to make it up and cram the next few days or week after you get back from your trip. So definitely working ahead and kind of again learning the time management skills. It's different than high school. You have more freedom and more time to yourself, and you can choose not to do anything and fall behind. But at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to for our audience and stuff, especially those guys playing football or whatever sport. Really to kind of focus on like learning those skills and building that up in high school, because yeah, like you said, once you get to college, you either know it or you don't, and it can kind of spiral downhill real quick. I remember that from my days at least. Um,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more? Like we'll go into some of the like football things, maybe some things that are kind of special to you, but I think a lot of people are kind of interested in. How do you prepare for a game? How do you get mentally ready, especially in your situation? You're a position that doesn't play every down or most downs. Like you kind of come in, you got one job to do, you do it, and you get off the field.
Yeah, no, it's we're I'm very fortunate. We have a great sports psychology department here at the university. So I work with them. I work with them every week. I have meetings with them, and we have people come in and work with our team from that department, and they really help us out. I'm usually the night before game. I'm kind of working. This past season I was working with our sports psychologist, Dr. Brett, who was left to take a um, great job with the Yankees. But she's so that just speaks to her and that kind of her level of expertise. But me and some other teammates would we'd usually kind of just get our mind off anything, try to relieve some stress. So we'd have a team event where we go out for a movie. We did that before every game. So we'd go back for a movie, have a little team meeting after, and then we were free to do whatever we want. So after that, I would work with a sports psychologist, me and a handful of other players, and we'd kind of just meditate and relax and get ready to go to sleep. And then for me, the next morning, I take a lot of care, and I think the mental piece is just as important as anything for me. Not just because of my position, but I'm a huge believer in it, and I've seen huge improvements for me in the past few years by working on it. So I'm always visualizing before games and meditating. Positive self-talk's huge. I'm always talking to myself positively, and I've really kind of watch what I say to myself, because it's so easy to say negative things to yourself, or just like easy things you'd say on a daily basis. And even hearing people talk about themselves sometimes, like when they mess up, like it's just like, man, I'd never say this. Like it's just like it's eye opening because people don't take advantage of it. So I'd say taking care of the mental piece of it is a huge factor.
I love hearing that you have that kind of support and you're able to kind of reach out to those resources, and that you found kind of your niche. You're kind of learning what makes you successful, and that's just, I think, a huge thing for anyone. And kudos to you to putting in the work to finding that out, because it's very impressive. Is there anything that surprised you about being a college athlete? Like maybe you thought it was going to go this way and it's not, or you thought you wouldn't have this and you do, or anything like that?
Um, I mean, we're very fortunate in everything we have and all the resources we have. But I mean, I obviously know college athletics. It's a job. My dad played baseball in college, so like he understands and he gets it. It's a full time job. You're devoting a lot of your life and even your free time. You're constantly thinking about your sport or whatever you may do. But it's a job, and so I mean, obviously for someone who's never done it and living in high school is a little different. Like the time management you have to kind of develop and kind of mature and grow on your own. It teaches you a lot about yourself. Like you got to take care of your school, you got to take care of everything you do on the field or on the court. You got to take care of yourself mentally, and take care of your body. Allow yourself to sleep and recover well enough. So doing all those things in only a 24-hour day is tough. So it's really got to find a good balance and find routines.
I know the big appeal and kind of the dream for a lot of students is that athletic scholarship and the thought that like that just pays for everything, makes everything easy and things like that. But us as educators and support staff, like we know in our job that a lot of times that's not the case. So don't go into specifics, but the scholarship part of things, does your athletic scholarship cover specific things but not other things? Did you have to find any outside scholarships or scholarships from the community to kind of help complete out what your financial aid package looked like?
Yeah, so I mean, there is there aren't a lot of sports that offer. I mean, any sport can, obviously, I think, but not every sport has a huge number of scholarships. Obviously, football does, and we're all very fortunate for that. But I mean, as a kicker, like I went down the soccer route, so I was looking to play soccer for you know my whole life, really, in college, but I accepted the fact that, listen, like mom, dad, like I really want to play college soccer, but I'm stressed about this because I know they don't really give out full ride scholarships. Like it's partial scholarships. You're getting your room and board paid for. It's 30-40% scholarship, but it's not enough to cover everything. So definitely not, like definitely don't have that luxury in every sport. So being appreciative, as we all are, for any sort of scholarship you can have, is great. Personally, I didn't have any sort of experience with additional things, but there are plenty of opportunities out there and ways to kind of earn your earn extra money off your tuition.
We've asked college athletes this question before, so I love kind of just having some of these repeat questions and seeing what's the same and what's different.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like the best thing about being an athlete in college, and what's the worst thing about being an athlete in college?
I'd say the best thing is, building a bond with your teammates and getting to represent your school. I mean, you fall in love with your school, and you fall in love, kind of the bond you make with your teammates that'll last a lifetime. So that's definitely the most special moment. And maybe, I mean, mentally it's hard. Like it's a grind, and it's very easy to get burnt out. And a lot of people take it, don't take it serious, that like it's a job. Like it's not for everyone. If it was easy, that everyone would do it, and just the day-to-day grind. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's you're not getting a lot of free time just to yourself where you can escape from everything. It's film, it's practice, it's games, it's traveling, it's workouts. Like it's everything. You take up a lot of time, so you don't really get to have that, I don't know, college experience that you hear about. You're very busy, so that's kind of I mean, I don't think that's the worst thing, but I think that a lot of people would say that it's the time management and huge commitment that you have to make. But if it's for you, then it's for you, and you'll just love the process.
Yeah, it's different for everyone. That's why I love that question, is just seeing like
Yeah.
who knows what. So we're about to get to some audience questions and stuff here, but kind of last chance. What do you want the fans to know about you? Any additional advice that you want to impart to our audience before we kind of wrap up with the questions straight from the audience?
Yeah, no, I guess maybe some advice I'd give to anyone potentially going through the recruiting process or knows someone who might be doing the same. I'd say just being patient and kind of letting things stay the course, and as long as you can. I mean, I know it's, like I said before, the recruiting process is very stressful, but the worst thing you can do is make a wrong decision and kind of lose out on opportunities because you didn't wait and you got a little eager. It's all about finding the right fit for you. And there's a lot. It's easy to feel a lot of external factors when it comes to picking a school, but it's really to win. The biggest thing is figuring out the best fit for you and your family, and that's the biggest thing, I'd say.
Yeah. We love hearing that language. It's something we use a lot on our website and stuff about finding the right fit, whether you're an athlete or not. There's resources at educationquest.org that are free to you to use so that you can research colleges with college profiles. You can find scholarships with Scholarship Quest. Just plenty of information and resources. Our blog has a ton of stuff to help students kind of find that right fit that Tristan just talked about. And so certainly reach out to us if you guys watching have any questions about how to do that, or want to talk through with one of our specialists about what your college journey is looking like and what you need to do. So thanks for the assist there, Tristan, on that, because we certainly want to see everyone succeed, and we're glad that you are too. And that's some great insight into life as a student athlete. So really appreciate that. We do have a couple questions from the audience, so we're going to take those here now. The first one, Tristan, do you have any recommendations when it comes to making recruiting video? What should we include? How do we distribute it? How do we get it in the hands of the coaches? How do we make sure people see it?
Yeah, no, it's very hard because I'd say it's a little different. With every sport, like football, it's best thing to, at least the easiest way, hopefully your high school has access to it, is through Huddle. That's a big, making highlights there and, getting filmed there is very, very easy. But, again, it's different for every sport, but for your typical highlight video, sorry, you got me?
Yep.
Your typical highlight video, I definitely say, it's key to, it shouldn't be too long. You can make it as long as you want, but at the end of the day, coaches get emails and emails throughout the day, and they're getting hundreds of emails every day. So they're only going to watch, the first couple minutes of your highlight video. So you got to include your position, your GPA at the beginning of the video, and then your best highlights. Like, they have to be clips that make coaches want to get on the phone with you right now. Like that, they got to be eye-opening clips, and that's the best way. I'd say any sort of help your club or high school coaches can give you is very key and only going to help you. And also another piece of advice is I would, treat every coach that may recruit you with respect, because you never know the process, or the thought process I went through in my process. It was like, you never know where that coach may end up. So a school you may not be interested in, you don't want to burn any bridges. That coach you aren't interested in, or the school you have no interest in being in, they could end up at your dream school in 1-2 months, and then you're knocking on their door begging them for an opportunity, when if you would have treated them better, you're going to regret that. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. But when it comes to highlights and film, your best clips, your position, but sending out through emails is a big way, or Twitter DMs, like those are the kind of the two biggest ways I'm familiar with. But there's also recruiting platforms too, like NCSA or anything like that. And that's just additional help that can definitely help you for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a big thing for them. It's going to suck up a lot of time in high school, just having to make all that outreach and talk to coaches. And I've been working with my daughter the last couple years on it, so I'm kind of living through that. It's a lot of work to get them onto that. This is a question I'm kind of interested in, because I don't know the answer to this. So, do you have roommates, and do you live with teammates?
Yes, I have 3 roommates. I'm in a suite right now, so I have 3 roommates that live with me on campus, and like them all. They are my teammates. Usually most schools, I would say you probably are living with either teammates or other athletes. I don't really think they, I could be wrong, and it's a numbers thing, but they usually don't. Athletes don't room with non-athletes typically, but again, I can't speak for every school, but at least that's what we have here.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've always wondered like how that works out. Just, you talked about the schedule and having to deal with being away, and the early practices and late nights and things like that. So I'm like, if it wasn't another athlete, even if it was an athlete on a different team or something, I would think there might be some schedule conflicts that prop up. So
yeah, it's I don't think, if I was rooming with regular students who weren't athletes, or even if they were athletes but on different teams, it'd be hard because all different schedules. Waking up at I'm pretty sure we're one of the teams that wakes up the earliest and has the earliest workouts, so they probably wouldn't be too happy with me with my alarm going off bright and early. But that we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. You're all up at the same time. That's gotta work out
Yeah,
well. So
yeah,
well, thank you, Tristan. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come here and talk to us. And I know I'm speaking for everyone that's in chat and all of our viewers. We just really appreciate you kind of giving us some insight into what it's like to be an athlete. It's one thing for someone like me to talk about it. It's a whole nother thing just to hear it from someone who's kind of living it. And I think we all say, best of luck with the upcoming season and everything else that's going for you, and getting through college, and that we wish you the best of success. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Over the next few months, we're going to be talking about some really good stuff. We've got a live stream next month about how seniors are going to kind of wrap up the year in the last bit that they need to go through. We're going to talk about taking a gap year, so that you can kind of learn like what is a gap year and how does that work. So definitely check out that one. And then we're going to kind of round out the summer with talking about Greek life, because we've had a lot of people with questions about what it's like to be in a fraternity or sorority. So we're going to bring in some people who can kind of give us some information about that. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter X and Instagram and all that stuff so you don't miss out any of those. I know everyone's waiting to hear about the winner, so congratulations to Rick Kement. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right, but you are the winner of a water bottle, so congratulations to you. If you just message us on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll get the contact information stuff and get that sent out to you, so really appreciate that. Again, Tristan, thank you so much for taking time to join us, and again, best of luck with everything. We really appreciate your time today.
yeah. Thank you so much. I'm just happy to be on, and hope whoever's listening could pick up a few tips and some advice. So thank you.
I'm sure they